Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Monday, October 8th, 2018. Happy Monday, everyone. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame. What I have here is a year-to-date view. So from the very far left here is the very first trading day of 2018, all the way to the current developing day right now. On the 8th of October, you'll see right here, this is the key range high. And this is currently where we're trading. We're trading right above it, 29.50 down to that 28.78 half. There's a little box that is formed up here. And this is what I've been talking about this entire time, that if price starts to push higher, now that we've rallied from here, now that we've seen all these rallies and we're now above this high, if there's any failure to start really pushing through 29.50 at some point down the road, very soon, there could be a failure here that leads prices back down by some measure. Again, perhaps as low as 2800, maybe even a little farther into 2700. Does that lead to a move all the way across the range? Theoretically, that could certainly happen, and that is one of my favorite trades in most normal scenarios. This is definitely not a normal scenario, but again, the same type of principles still adhere. So again, this range right here is just something very close to, or very important to watch here very closely, because any failure ultimately to hold, say, 28.50 rather, could be a significant indication that we're headed lower. Now in the near term, in the very near term right now, you can see this is the previous month's low. We mentioned earlier in the week that if there was any failure to get above recent highs here, we could push back to the midpoint and across the range. We talked about the LVN here at around 28.65. So if price were to push down into that zone, there could still be a trap opportunity below here that could lead to a return back up toward highs. But again, failure to hold, say, 28.50 overall, or failure to get back above 28.65s if we were to get that low, would be significant. So again, any pullback is still a buying opportunity. We may not have found the low just yet, but so far this low seems pretty decent, and 28.80 is going to be the intraday level that bulls are trying to defend for continuation higher. All right, let's take a look now at the NQ. Here's the NQ again. In the previous week, during the monthly market outlook, after Monday's session here, I mentioned that we could be rejecting the 7700s, and that could open up a return back toward 75.45 and as low as the 7400 and 7350 LVN. Price got as low as 73.47 just 4 days later, after seeing rejections off the 7700 level, which is a level we talked about in the pre-market reports during that time. A major rotation downward. But what I also mentioned was, if we were to drop into the zone, again, look for bulls to defend for a shot at returning prices back toward recent highs at 7700, and perhaps even a little above that level, maybe 7750. And so again, right now, bulls are doing just enough to keep that area bid. 73.80 is a good intraday level that bulls are trying to keep bid for a shot at returning this thing back up. Again, right now, bulls are trying to keep that 73.40 zone bid overall for a shot at returning price back up on a swing basis. And on the intraday basis, 73.80 is being held right now for a shot at seeing higher prices into, say, 7,500. All right, let's take a look now at crude oil. Now, crude oil right now is on the verge of another move. It has been very, very bullish overall. This move has been significantly bullish. You can see right here we've broken higher to the upside, failed to hold above those 76s. So if you recall, on this day right here, pre-market report, we were still above 76s. I mentioned if there's any failure to hold that zone, that could open up a rotation back toward the recent pivot support, that 74s. And that all happened in one day. We're still there. Now we're in the trigger zone. Do bulls come in and defend for a retest or an attempt to push back toward highs, or do 75s remain resistance on any push higher, and that leads to more weakness? Right now on the daily time frame, this looks like a good shot to buy, but again, any rejection of these highs is usually something to pay attention to, and that type of rejection will usually open the door to a pullback of some measure. Again, perhaps as deep as 69.34. So again, this could be significant if price cannot get back above 75s very quickly. So in the near term, again, any push back above, say, 73.80 could open up a bounce into 75s. But if there's any failure to get above 75s, that could be significant on a day trading basis and also on a swing basis to begin the month here. All right, let's take a look here at gold futures. You'll notice gold continues to consolidate here within the middle 50% of the key range. The key range high around 1240, the key range low is around 1165s here. It's right inside the middle 25% on either side of the midpoint of that range. Perfectly neutral key range right now. And what that means to me, based off of experience, based off of how this type of behavior usually unravels, this range is a significant energy building phase that will lead to a major breakout move. The problem is we don't really know anything about directional conviction when it comes to this type of compression. Theoretically speaking, that compression can expand in either direction or in both directions. So again, not the easiest, but when a breakout does occur, it could be significant and it could signal a move, something on the basis of this, or bigger. If you look, this type of move right here, this type of development is the same as what happened here, only this one is much smaller scale. But look at the forceful move that it was able to help trigger. This is a much bigger move and could signal a much bigger breakout opportunity or a breakout opportunity with more force. But again, until we see a breakout above 1220 or below 1180, it's more chop until then. So again, avoid the chop until we see a confirmed breakout move. And lastly, let's talk about Bitcoin here. Here's XBT Bitcoin futures. Again, descending wedge that we have here, descending type of price action. That, again, based off of 20 plus years of experience, is usually very bearish in most cases. Say 2 out of 3 times it'll break to the downside, or say 3 out of 4 times it will break to the downside. But in those cases where it does break to the upside, it can be significant. I've talked about this before. The fact that value is now at these lows suggests that enough counter trend participants have come in to defend, and now it's a breakout move coming one way or another. Again, if there's a failure to hold below 6K, that could open up a big move up above 7,500. Can finally open up a retest between 8,500 and 9K. Again, right now, just kind of building out, and perhaps a breakout move could be coming soon. But again, like gold, you can avoid the chop and wait for a confirmed breakout or attempted breakout move in one direction before committing. So that is a look at Bitcoin. Really quickly, if we switch gears over here to PivotBoss.com, again, I want to remind you that Swing Trade Pro 2.0 is still available, and I have a webinar coming up here Wednesday. And if you go to the news tab here, click on news, drop down to the bottom here, you'll see webinar Profiting with Swing Trade Pro 2.0. You can click on that there. Again, in that, there's a video here, probably about 7, 8, 10 minutes or so. It gives you a little bit more information about the webinar, but for the most part, we are going to be talking about the recent sell-off in the NQ and how Swing Trade Pro teaches that scenario perfectly, and how if you had engaged that move, you would have gotten in with little adverse excursion and would have made hundreds of points on the move down in whichever way that you would have decided to engage that move. But again, Swing Trade Pro details it perfectly with the blueprints that we have. If you want to join the webinar here, it's as simple as clicking this link right here, https:/the join me and then /PivotBoss. That right there, that link, on October 10th, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Central. So it is going to be a late one here so that more people can attend. Again, we're going to talk about Swing Trade Pro 2.0. I'm going to answer any questions you have. I'll give you a look behind the curtains to see what the dashboard looks like and what the training looks like. and answer any questions. But again, the main point of this webinar is to show you how we predicted that the NQ was likely to drop last week, and how Swing Trade Pro 2.0 perfectly details that case scenario in the trading blueprints that we use. Alright, that is it for now. Have a fantastic week. I will see you in the trading room. Good luck and trade well.